Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by Simplilearn. This is Anubhav and in this video, we will be learning about PWC interview questions. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you will never miss any update from Simplilearn. So without further ado, let's begin and see what's in it for you. First, we'll get to know about PWC. After that, we'll see the recruitment process of PWC. Moving ahead, we'll see the interview preparation tips, and after that, we will see frequently asked questions in the interview. After that, we will see PWC technical interview question, and then we will see PWC HR interview questions. PWC is the world's second largest business services network, and it is one of the big four accounting companies along with Deloitte, EY and KPMG. More than 295,000 individuals work for PWC in 156 countries and 742 locations. In order to meet the needs of the organization and customers, it provides assurance, tax and advisory services. World Accounting 50 has placed PwC as one of the top accounting firms in the world for the last 7 years. Now let's see PwC recruitment process. First, there will be an aptitude round. This is an online assessment conducted by PwC that typically consists of 3 components. First one is verbal ability. This tests the candidate's performance in English. Questions in this area often ask students to connect the dots in the right tenses, prepositions, synonyms, and among other things. It may also contain paragraph-based questions with text, and you must respond to 3 to 4 questions based on it. After that, there will be a numerical ability round. Here, the candidate's mathematical skills are tested. Most of the questions in this area deal with topics like speed and distance, profit and loss, permutation and combination, probability and clocks, as well as the simple and compound interest of the various types of investments. After that, there will be a reasoning ability round. This tests the candidate's ability to think logically. Here, you will discover questions that ask you to locate the next phase in a given sequence, match a pattern, and so on. After that, there will be a technical round. Candidate will go through a technical phase based on their performance in the aptitude round. As an IT consultant, there are variety of specialization including SAP, Oracle, ERP, Microsoft ERP, cybersecurity, data analyst, and so on. Aside from the technical features of the specific profile, this round focuses on a wide range of technological ideas. Interview will go through your resume in detail and may ask you about prior projects and technologies that you have included on your resume. Before appearing for this round, it's a good idea to thoroughly review your resume. Many of the principles of computer science such as object-oriented programming concepts, database management concepts, and computer network and operating system might also be asked. Programming languages such as C, C++, Java, or Python should be a part of the candidate resume depending on the position. Despite the fact that this is a technical stage, the recruiter have the option to ask non-technical or human resources questions. There may be more than one technical interview depending on the level of expertise. After that, there will be a partner round. A candidate advancement towards the partner round will be determined by how well he or she performs throughout the technical round. And in last, you will have your HR round. The human resource round is the last stage. The question in this round will be mostly focused on the resume, previous work experience, and basic human resource questions. This phase also determines whether or not the applicant is a good match for the company's culture. To discover more about PwC, read about the company missions and values. You may also learn more by visiting the company's website. There are some basic questions that I can tell you right now. Explain your resume to me. Why PWC Private Limited? Would you consider shifting to a different part of India? In 5 or 10 years, where do you see yourself? And what do you believe in to be your greatest strength and weaknesses? These are some questions that are asked frequently in the HR round. We will be discussing some of the important HR questions in the last. If you are preparing for an interview of PWC or any other company, I would like to share some tips that will definitely help you. First one is understand the role. Know what you are applying for. Make a list of all the information you can on the employment position you are looking for, including the skill set and the education requirements, among other things. As PwC has a variety of positions and various profiles for each one, it is important to know what you are applying for before you walk in for the interview. Second one is the resume projects. Read over the resume for beginning to end. Pay close attention to the specific for each product technological list. Don't add projects or technologies that you are not familiar with. Update your knowledge of the previous project listed on the resume as well as the technologies you are learned about. Develop the habit of solving data structure and algorithm challenges on a regular basis to improve your skills. Never lose upon the challenges presented in the interview. If you can't instantly come up with the solution, then brute force the problem and subsequently apply refinements on top of it to get the best answer. Always look at things for several angles and keep going at them for all angles. Note the hints that have been provided. It's not uncommon for the interviewers to provide guidance to assist the candidate who run into difficulties. In order to go into another phase, you must act quickly after receiving the tip. If you are unable to determine what the clue is, this is a huge red flag. Next one is behave professionally. It is important that the interviewer are not only looking at your resume to see whether you have the necessary qualifications, your interpersonal skills such as how you respond to challenging topics, your thought process, if you match the organizational culture, whether you interpret the interviewer or not. As a result, you should consider before you speak and avoid saying things that may be seen as a red signal. After that, think loud. It's always seen by the interviewers that the candidates are thinking in a right direction but they are not sure of. In that situation, the interviewer is that who tells you you are in the right direction. So get your thoughts out to the interviewer and let him tell you whether you are wrong or right. Research and communication. You shouldn't be nervous since the HR interview is likely to be a nice person. You won't be tested on your technical knowledge during the HR round. So keep your cool. With solid communication skills, the HR round will not be daunting as it seems. Candidate preparing should include a self-introduction, capabilities and shortcomings and a resume walkthrough among other things. Show the interviewer that you are into this job. Discover the purpose and objective of PWC Private Limited as well as its history and background information. Make use of these phrases whenever you get a chance during the interview. In order to gain the distinct edge since it is demonstrative that you have done extensive study on this firm and that are your edge to join the team. After that, try to practice mock interviews. Don't be afraid to try practicing or interview in advance. This will provide you with a sense of what you anticipate during the real interview. Your interview performance will improve as a result of giving more mock interviews. This also helps you to improve your ability to communicate. Now, we will see some frequently asked questions in the interview. First one is it difficult to join PWC? Nothing is difficult if you put in necessary effort and practice beforehand. These interviews are mostly considered with resume, coding challenges, data structure and algorithms, object-oriented programming, and fundamentals of computer science. Make sure you have a thorough understanding of these things in order to achieve your PWC career objective with flying colors. What are PWC eligibility requirements? There shouldn't be no current backlogs or outstanding debts. Students should have GPA at least 6.0 throughout their academic career. Does PWC have a coding round? PWC does not have a coding round at this time. Coding questions, on the other hand, will be asked during the interview process. What are the starting salary of a new hire in PWC? On average, PWC Private Limited hire freshers with a standard salary of Rs 6.5 lakhs. PWC Software Engineer composition range from Rs 6 lakh per year to freshers to 8.5 lakh per year. How long does the interview process of software engineer at PWC last? It's impossible to predict how long the PWC interview process will take. Everything is subject to change based on the circumstances. For the most part, PWC does not have to recruit extra applicants and then have them on the sideline. Even if you passed all the interviews, it might take up to 10 days for the ultimate offer letter to arrive. Typically, the interview process lasts from a few days to a few weeks. Now, we will see PWC technical interview questions. The first one is, what is the difference between C and C++? C is a programming language that is procedural, and C++ supports both functional and object-oriented programming. C++ is a multi-paradigm language. C is a subset of C++, and C++ is a thought to be subset of C. Next one is C works from the top to down, and C++ is built using the bottom-up approach. Inheritance, polymorphism, and data encapsulation are not supported in C, but in C++, inheritance, polymorphism, data encapsulation, and abstraction are all supported in C++. Now, in C++, what are the advantages of a vector versus an array? Arrays are fixed, whereas vectors are resizable. When the array reaches its limit, the array does not automatically expand, but the vector does. So by relocating the elements and relocating new spaces. Whenever an array is dynamically allocated, it must be explicitly dislocated, whereas vectors are automatically dislocated when they reach the end of their scope. The size of the dynamically allocated array must be explicitly tracked by the size of the vector, does not need to be watched. The array can't be copied or assigned to another array. However, the vector can be readily copied or assigned to another vector. Next question would be, what does merge sort means? How does the merge sort measure in terms of time and space complexity? Merge sort is a divide and conquer algorithm for sorting a set of data that can be an array or linked list. It divides the input into two halves and each state until there was one element left in the input. Then merge the sorted halves to create a sorted input. Merge sort isn't a built-in algorithm, which means you need to use extra spaces for sorting the input. Merge sort is a stable algorithm, which means that if the input contains two identical elements, the sorted output will keep its relative ordering. Write a program to filter list members that are even valued between 1 and 20. This can be accomplished in various ways. However, using filter and lambda is the more Pythonic approach. A function and a sequence are sent to the filter method. Its true or false should be returned by the function. It applies a function to each element in the sequence and return an iterative for those that return true from the function. We can pass a standard function filter, but lambda is a better way to do it. Now, what is the difference between a binary tree and a binary search tree? A binary tree is a tree with no more than 2 children per node. The value that a node or its children can have is unrestricted. In the case of a binary tree, searching requires traversing the entire tree. And in binary search tree, the left subtree of a node can only contain nodes whose value are less than the parent node's values, and the right subtree of a node can only have nodes whose values are greater than the parent node's value. In the case of binary search tree, we simply need to traverse the tree's height in the worst case scenario for searching. In Python, what is the difference between list and tuple? In Python, the main difference between list and tuple is that list is mutable, whereas tuple is immutable. The structure or content of a mutable object can be alterative after it's formed, whereas an immutable object can't be changed after it has been created. The list has more flexibility than the tuple, since we can simply add new elements, delete existing elements, and so on, whereas tuples are immutable, therefore adding a new element or deleting current element requires us to create a new tuple. Now, we will see what exactly is Bootstrap. What benefits does Bootstrap has over CSS? Bootstrap is a Twitter-developed open-source front-end framework for making web development easier and faster. This is just reusable code that we can download and use for our own web development to achieve the functionalities we need without having to rewrite the same code. It works with practically all browsers because it supports almost all of them. Bootstrap can make the website responsive, meaning it adapts to the screen regardless of the device being used to see it. Bootstrap has following advantages over CSS. First one is it's an open source. Because Bootstrap is free, we don't have to pay for it. After that, it's time saving. We can get the same functionalities by using the Bootstrap in our code rather than developing the same code from the start, which speeds up our development. Responsiveness. Bootstrap Fluid Grid layout adapts to the device screening resolution, so we don't have to think of the viewer using laptop, desktop, mobile, tablet, and so on. After that, it's cross-browser compatibility. Because Bootstrap supports all major modern web browsers, we don't have to worry about whether or not a feature will work in all of them. It is easy to use. Bootstrap is simple to use and requires only a basic understanding of HTML and CSS. Now, the next question would be, what is the distinction between linear and non-linear data structures? In non-linear data structure, a single node can connect an unlimited number of items. On the other side, only the next and previous element are linked to the current element. In non-linear data structure, there are multiple levels of involvement. On the other hand, in linear data structure, there is only one level involvement. There are multiple levels of involvements. Non-linear data structures are easier to implement and linear data structures are challenging to implement. Example for non-linear data structures are tie, trees, graph, etc. And in linear data structure, it's queue, array, linked list, stack, etc. Now, we will see PWC interview questions for the HR rounds. Tell me about a time you had to correct someone's mistake. An interview asks these types of questions to discover how you manage obstacles, identify your shortcomings, and assesses whether you have what it takes to accomplish the job properly. You want to be candid in your response, but you also want to convey a positive story about how a mistake helped you become a better job applicant. Accomplish the error benefits and don't liner on them. Switch quickly what you learned or how you grew after making that mistake and outline the steps you took to ensure that the mishap never happened again. After that, what do you think this role involves? Interviewer would like to understand why you are integrated about this particular job. Investigate the typical responsibilities of this role and then consider how you are suitable or if you have the traits, talents and the ability that qualifies you for this position. The interviewer can also ask this question in the HR round that why PWC? There are 4 key reasons for this. You can say there are my personal reasons, the customers, the brand and the training that you gave. Working with PWC allows you to collaborate with and learn from the professionals in your area. One will be exposed to a variety of work types, clients, good training, and the chance to assume responsibilities. All of these aspirants contribute to one career's advancement and to PWC experience. The next question would be, give an example of a time when you worked with people outside your usual network. Employer wants team player. So interact in a scene that demonstrates to the recruiter that you can perform well with others. They need to see if you can bring communication, collaborate in a group and optimize the outcome of your collective endurance. Then, what's the most difficult thing about working with you? The interviewer wants to see through this question if you are self-aware and if you can take accountability for a situation. Try to answer this question along the lines of the job you are applying for. However, giving a clever context about this situation that the interviewer should know that you have learned from this experience. Show the interviewer that you can work efficiently as part of a team. After all, your endorsements should highlight your strong points rather than your flaws as an employee. This is all for this video. If you find this video informative, please like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.